A fatal shooting at the hands of Findlay police. What we know about the incident so far. And gunshots heard outside an elementary school. Our 11 Investigates team digs into the issues and explains why no one is breaking the law.
Well, we've had record highs now in the books on Tuesday. Another day of record warmth expected Wednesday. When will it come to an end? Here it is. A cold front on Halloween will bring some windy and wet weather. What it means for temperatures and our trick or treat outlook. I'll break that down in your full forecast coming up. Kaylee, back over to you.
Welcome into WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Kaylee Maritet. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night. Let's take a look at your top stories for the day. Tonight, an update on a fatal shooting in Findlay. According to police, a teenager fired shots at an officer. That officer fired back and hit and killed him. Police tell us a gun was found at the scene. Family members of the person shot and killed by the officer are gathering at the park where he was shot. They say the victim is 17-year-old Calvin Darapeth. His family says they're still confused on what happens and want some answers. Police say that they were dispatched to the park after a report mentioning 3 teens drinking alcohol. When they arrived, they say one of the teens ran, and that's when gunshots were fired. The suspect later died at the hospital.
It sounded like fireworks, and that's what I thought. I was like, oh, somebody did fireworks, and that's when people started posting oh, y'all heard the gunshots. And we asked somebody what happened. They said somebody got shot. And then it was just cops all packed right here, all over the railroad tracks, packed. They were searching for somebody or trying to find something.
Shy, he was a quiet kid. He never, every time I'm with him, I used to always hang out with him. He never had a gun. He was always a shy and quiet kid. I was one of his closest friends. He was like a brother to me, for real.
The Findlay police chief says they're working with Hancock County Prosecutor's Office and the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations to release body camera footage. The sound of gunshots is something you expect to hear at a gun range, not in elementary school. But that's what's being heard at one school in Springfield Township. Lead investigator Brian Duggar looks into why this is happening and why no one is actually breaking the law.
Gunshots. Young children bolt from the Christie Elementary playground, but they aren't a target. A neighbor is using his gun legally in his backyard, just feet from school property.
I'm thinking, why can't this person just do it not during the school day?
As a township resident in Ohio, it's his legal right. A minute passes. Students rush into single file lines. It's the routine for students and staff, their gunfire routine. The same scenario played out last November.
We do have concerns from parents and kids that they don't feel safe when they hear that noise. We bring the kids in off the playground and the principal sends a letter home to let them know that that day we heard it, we pulled the kids in.
Superintendent Matt Gehaw says the complaints rolled into his office in 2023. He drafted a letter to parents. It's a letter he says he doesn't want to keep sending. And it reads, there is a neighbor close to the school that at times will target shoot in their own backyard during the school day. This does not violate Ohio law because it is located in a township.
I'm so torn. It's so split because this day and age, you don't want your children to hear that noise, especially related to school. That's kind of supposed to be their serene place, right? Where they can go and focus on education. And to have them hear that, it's not really uplifting. However, as a resident, I have to respect the rights of other people.
Many townships in Ohio are almost entirely rural. That is not the case in some parts of Springfield Township. The school is surrounded by residential properties. The township has more than 25,000 residents.
It is the fall season. Hunting season is around the corner. We do have portions of our townships that are our township that is wooded areas where they're allowed to hunt. These hunters, before they go out, they like to sight in their weapons. And they'll do that on their own property if they are able to.
If there is a change, it needs to happen in Columbus. The state legislature could restrict gunfire based on population density or proximity to a school.
It comes down to safety.
Heidi Fott, executive director of the Ohio Township Association, says she supports a potential change.
I've been with the Ohio Township Association for over 24 years. And over those 24 years, we routinely receive phone calls from township officials or township residents.
Golfers at the Avalon Country Club in Northeast Ohio had a scatter in 2019 when a man and his grandchildren began target shooting on private property in Holland Township. Those bullets hit trees on the 6th hole.
The Ohio Revised Code is what governs townships in the state of Ohio. Townships don't have home rule authority like cities or villages do. And so all of our authority must come from the Ohio Revised Code, and we must have explicit authority to regulate the discharge of firearms.
So 11 Investigates reached out to every state rep in Northwest Ohio to ask if they would support a change in outdoor gun use in the Ohio Revised Code. No shooting near schools during a specific time frame, such as when kids are on the playground. Republican State Representative Gary Click was the only lawmaker to go on record. He said, "I would be open to conversations on this topic. As always, the devil is in the details. At first glance, however, these appear to be legitimate concerns."
I wish that that resident would choose to not do it during the school day. That would be the ideal scenario, but again, we can't control people.
Springfield Township officials told us that the township sent letters to the neighbors accused of target shooting near the elementary school during school hours. It's legal to shoot your gun within township limits, but the effect the shooting has on people could be illegal. The letter says anyone warned about the target shooting during school hours could be charged with inciting panic if they continue. A Sandusky County judge's law license could be stripped by the Ohio Supreme Court. This follows accusations of sexual harassment. In July, 2 employees filed harassment complaints against Sandusky County Common Pleas Court Judge John Ickes. According to the complaint filed Monday, Judge Ickes violated the Ohio Code of Judicial Conduct and the Ohio Rules of Professional Conduct by harassing a pregnant employee, fostering an inappropriate and unprofessional work environment, using a racial slur within earshot of a criminal defendant, and characterizing a child rape case in a vulgar manner. This is all alleged to have happened from 2021 through earlier this year. Ickes bailiff Candace Talbot was also put on paid administrative leave in May for some of those behaviors. According to the 27-page complaint, Ickes put a stop to disciplinary proceedings involving Talbot. He must just respond in writing to the complaint by November 18th or face a suspension of his law license. Judge Ickes did not respond to our request for comment. Jason Barron was sentenced in court this morning to 18 months in jail on 3 counts of child endangerment charges. Police conducted a wellness check of his home in August and found his 3 kids naked with no food, furniture, or lighting in the house. In court this morning, the judge said this was one of the worst child endangerment cases he's ever seen.
I've been here almost 15 years. I think maybe at most 2 or 3 occasions has the court exercised the full extent of its sentencing capabilities, which is 18 months. But I think that the conditions of the home, the way in which the children were systematically abused, or I should say endangered for who knows how long, necessitates a sentence of 180 days for each child.
Meanwhile, the children's mother, Mary Ann Barron's case is set to go to trial November 14th. We'll be sure to keep you updated on her case as well. Newly released dash and body cam footage shows the moment 2 Toledo boxers were pulled over by officers.
You can step out for me. What? Because I'm telling you to, that's why.
We professional boxers! You know me!
According to Toledo police, Tyler McCreary was driving and Robert Easter Jr. was a passenger. They were stopped for several traffic violations, according to police, on October 18th. A canine dog indicated there were drugs in the car. Easter Jr. was asked multiple times to get out of the vehicle but refused. McCreary said he was a professional boxer and allegedly made a threat to the officers. Both men were arrested and charged. Yesterday, fires were set at 2 ballot boxes in Washington and Oregon, leaving hundreds of ballots destroyed. The crimes bring up the issue of election security and what's being done to ensure every ballot is counted. The Lucas County Board of Elections has measures in place to ensure ballot drops in boxes are protected. Ohio law requires ballot boxes to be under 24-hour surveillance.
We also have internal cameras in reference to security to make sure that if anything occurs in most places in our area, especially the ballot box, that we can get, like I said, license plate numbers as they enter, license plate numbers as they exit. So heaven forbid if somebody does do something, we would be able to at least be able to try to locate those people and turn it over to the proper authorities.
The Lucas County Board of Elections also has a bipartisan team that collects ballots from the box multiple times a day. The 24-hour surveillance camera on the Lucas County ballot box is public. You can find a link to the live stream on our website, WTOL.com. Pemberville community members will see an income tax levy on their ballot when they go to the polls next week. Pemberville Mayor Carol Bailey says there is a 1% income tax that went into effect in 1976. And this is the first time since then that village administration is asking for more. If passed, the 0.5% income tax would be split between the general fund and permanent improvement fund. The village's fiscal officer says the majority of the general fund goes towards the police budget, but that budget is running low.
With the ultimate goal to try and continue to rebuild that surplus that we have in the general fund, which again isn't much, as well as start projecting projects, road projects. I mean, that permanent improvement helps with our infrastructure.
If the levy fails, village officials say they will go back to voters in May. Officials say they will also look at services offered and talk about cuts like leaf and brush pickup. Chris?
All right, for Wednesday, we're going to be looking at record warmth. Yet again, that will make back-to-back days. It will be another windy day with wind gusts of about 30 to 35 miles per hour, and highs going to push toward 80 degrees. Has you thinking, what season are we in? Certainly doesn't feel like late October, setting record highs right around 80 degrees. More like the early autumn season, not the edge of the Halloween holiday coming up. We have dry conditions across the area, and it's been like that much of the autumn season so far. No rain in sight, at least the next 24 to 36 hours. And we did go surging through the 70s. In fact, mild weather going to stick around late this evening and overnight tonight. And here's where we're going to go in the hour-by-hour forecast. We're going to stay very mild tonight. Lows are going to hold in the 60s as we go overnight tonight and early tomorrow morning. So here's where we're going to start, right around the mid-60s into Wednesday morning. Filtered sunshine, again, going to give us some glimpses of sun as we go into the afternoon. Highs expected to reach into the upper 70s and near 80 degrees. Then here's when things get mixed up. We drop back into the mid-60s as we get into Halloween morning. Rain chances will be approaching, and here's the reason why. We've got a cold front that is going to be headed in from the west. That cold front's going to sweep some rain chances in late morning through early afternoon, and those showers could even linger through about late afternoon. But here's the thing. We expect they're going to be lifting out of the area toward trick-or-treat time. Warmest point of the day, early afternoon as that cold front comes through, low to mid-70s on Halloween. But as that front rolls into the area, winds will gust 40 to 45 miles per hour. Lower 70s will drop back to the 60s toward trick-or-treat time. And if we time this out just right, here's the clock, 6 p.m. Thursday. That's right around the time many area communities are going to be celebrating and heading out toward trick-or-treat time. If that front is east of us, we're going to be dry across the area, mid-60s, and a breeze that will gust 30 to 40 miles per hour. So overall, for the last day of October, we're going to have fairly decent, good-looking conditions for trick-or-treating. Highs right around mid-70s, but heading out toward trick-or-treat on Thursday, 64 to 65 degrees. Last chance of a shower lingering and headed out of the picture. Low 60s, 7 p.m., right around 60 at 8 p.m., and winds will gust up to about 40 miles per hour. So it is going to be a windy day as we go into Thursday. Mid-60s, we're start our day Wednesday. Highs are going to go skyrocketing toward record warmth right around 80 degrees. And the windy weather sticks around. A couple more